This is a teeny tiny, itsy bitsy little PC. It's the smallest and cheapest mini PC that I've ever had. But is it any good? Well, if I told you the answer to that, you wouldn't watch the video. So, yeah, let's do the video thing. Hello, hi there, I'm TechDweeb, welcome. Thanks for clicking on the video today. A few weeks ago, I made this video. It was about a great little mini PC that I loved, the GMKTec Nucbox 10. It had great performance for the price, and I've had a great time with it since making that video, but in that video I said I really want to get my hands on a super cheap mini PC. Just to see what kind of games that you could play on that sort of system. Well, when I posted my video for the Nucbox 10, I sent GMKTec an email and said thanks for the mini PC and I hope you like the video and let me know if you have other stuff you'd like me to test. And then they reached out just like a few hours later and they were like, oh, you said in your video you wanted to try a lower end mini PC. Well, we have one of those and we'll send one to you. And they did. Man, I felt so lucky right there. Ask and you shall receive. And you guys get the benefit from my luck because I'm going to show you this mini PC and show you what it could do, and I'll have a link in the description below. It's on sale right now too, as of the time of filming this video. It's $170 if you use the coupon. So what do you get for $170? Well, let me tell you. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the GMKTec Nucbox G2. I know it says Nucbox 7 on the box, but it's also called the G2, so I don't know. It is a compact, efficient little mini PC for your minimalist desktop. It features a 12th gen Intel Alder Lake N100 processor with 4 cores and 4 threads. We also get integrated Intel UHD graphics based on the Iris Xe architecture. We also get 12 gigabytes of non-user replaceable single-channel LPDDR5 RAM clocked at 4800 MHz. My model has a 1 terabyte M.2 NVMe SSD. We also get 3 Gen 3.2 USB-A holes on one side, 2 HDMI 2.0 holes, and 1 DisplayPort 1.4 hole on the other side. Around back, we get dual gigabit Ethernet holes, which I'm sure some people would find super useful, and 1 headphone hole, and 1 single USB-C power delivery hole, which does not support data, only power through that one. It's a tiny, compact, little, efficient mini PC that'll look great on your desk, and it'll do computer stuff, because it's a computer. That's what it is. In the box, we get the mini PC itself, along with our tribute to innovation and GMKTec's creative tagline. Alright, an HDMI cord. You guys know how much I love extra HDMI cords. And there's a mounting bracket and a 36-watt USB-C power adapter. One thing about this mini PC is that it comes with a different top plate thing. So if your favorite color is tomato soup red, then you're gonna love having this option. And while we have this off, let's take a peek inside. There you can see our NVMe SSD and a Wi-Fi antenna. This plasticky part doesn't come off easily, but I can tell you that there's nothing really going on under there, so let's dig our way up from the other side. And there we go. There's some sort of motherboard in there, presumably with the processor on it, and the RAM. No way to upgrade the RAM. There's a decent looking heatsink and fan, and the LED lights underneath have their own PCB attached to the base. And that's pretty much it. Good stuff. The Windows installation is basic stuff, no bloatware or anything, standard Windows 11 Pro. I was using this for a while and it worked great. I was watching 4K video, no problem there. Some dweeb in my Discord asked me to try some photo editing, and it was good. Here I am editing a high-res photo of me with my first computer. I edited it. Why is that so hard to say? I edited it in the best way by adding lots of dinosaurs and Mario and stuff, and it was quick and snappy. I don't think you'll have any issues doing basic photo editing here. And video editing was surprisingly great. I was kind of blown away actually at how well it did. I had a 1080p high bitrate video, and I did a bunch of layers of video with a bunch of overlay effects and color filters, and it was actually perfectly responsive and snappy, even when scrubbing around the timeline. And even the rendering was quicker than I expected. Like 7 minutes for a full 15-minute video render with a bunch of effects. We only have 12 gigabytes of RAM here, so you're not gonna have a great time if you need to do heavy photo or video editing, but you can totally manage the basic stuff. Pretty much whatever desktop stuff that you want to do, you're gonna do just fine here. Let's do some benchmarks, why not? Keeping in mind that this is a cheap mini PC with a low power 4-core chip. So don't expect the world here. In Cinebench R23, I got a multi-core score of 2,402. So yeah, it's not a beast, but that's not as bad as I was expecting. And in 3D Mark Time Spy, I got a graphics score of just 328 and a CPU score of 2,162. So yeah, don't expect to be running the highest end 3D games on this thing, but we'll see how far we could push it in a bit. And I benchmarked the SSD, and I got a max read speed of 524 megabytes per second and a max write of 512 megabytes per second. So overall, I think the general picture is that this thing is going to do fine for desktop stuff, and even some more advanced stuff like creative stuff. I think at the price for the performance that you get, this is solid. I'd be happy with a PC that performed like this if I just had $170 to spend, that's for sure. But maybe you don't care about using this as a PC. Maybe you just care about gaming. Did I ever think about that? Well, yeah, I did actually. That's why I recorded some gameplay stuff so we could do that. So yeah. Obviously, the best way to use a low-powered PC as a gaming PC is to stick to lower-spec games. We are in the middle of an indie gaming revolution right now. Every single day, there are scads of amazing indie games released. Scads, I tell you! And a ton of these indie games are lower-spec games. Games that run on almost any computer. Some of my favorite games right now are low-spec games. So if you get a PC like this, then you can take part in modern gaming. You won't be playing the latest and greatest AAA 3D PC titles, but you'll have no problem playing all the amazing lower-end stuff that's out there right now. Like, if I had a PC like this, these are the kinds of games that I'd be playing. And I'd be a happy gamer playing these sorts of games. And keep in mind that like yesterday's demanding games are today's easy to run games. If you're into older games, you know, games from like 10 years ago, then you'll probably be able to run most of them at decent settings. I was playing the 2013 Tomb Raider reboot, a great game by the way. Assassin's Creed Rogue, great game by the way. BioShock Infinite, great game by the way. And Call of Juarez Gunslinger, great game by the way. And on all of those, I was running at decent settings. The game's looking real good, and the game's played really well, all above 30 FPS and usually much higher than that. Which is kinda nuts when you think about it, that a teeny tiny little cheap mini PC that is actually a full-fledged PC can actually play older AAA games better than an expensive PC from like 10 years ago. It's worth taking a moment to appreciate how far we've come. Actually, you know what, let's do that right now. Okay, when it comes to more modern, graphically intensive games, the performance is going to be not great. I mean, it depends on the game though. Mad Max came out in 2015, but it's running really well, albeit at 720p in low settings. But for the most part, you're not going to want to even bother trying to play stuff less than 5 years old. And even then, Shadow of the Tomb Raider did run, and it's sort of playable at low settings with 50% resolution scale. I mean, is this playable? I don't think I'd play like this, but maybe some people would. Cyberjunk 2077 at 1024 by 768 resolution. Ultra performance FSR. Lowest settings, we're looking at 20 FPS on average. Not a very nice experience. Doom Eternal wasn't even worth trying. Nothing you can do to get this even remotely playable, unfortunately. And I was gonna try CSGO, but this was literally the day that Valve took that down from Steam. So I gave CS2 a whirl, and nope. No, this isn't good, guys. It's a shame they took down CSGO because that game ran so freaking good on weak hardware. I get why they did it. It's just a shame that super low-end PCs can't play the most popular game in the world anymore. But maybe you don't care about AAA games. Maybe you're here to see what sort of emulation stuff we can do, right? Well, quite a bit, actually. I'm running all this emulation stuff off this, my personal emulation drive that I made. I'll include a link below to the video where I show you how I made this and how you can make one too, if you're interested in that. For the old stuff, I went right for the big guns. Yoshi's Island on Super Nintendo with a CRT shader. And it handled that no problem. So we're not going to have any issues with any of the very old stuff, even with shaders or whatever. Cruisin' USA on Nintendo 64 is one of the hardest games from this era to run, and it's running great here, so you're not going to have any issues with any of the older 3D stuff. Moving up to the next generation of 3D systems, the Dreamcast at 720p worked a treat, so you won't have any issues there. GameCube was pretty good. I couldn't get every game running with upscaling, but it seemed to work well running at native resolution. Here's Ed, and Eddie, and we still get a few frame rate dips, but I'm not getting audio stuttering, so I'm gonna say this is playable. Some people have told me that I sound like a character from this show. Isn't that weird? PS2 is running well at the native resolution. I tried Burnout 3, the best Burnout, and I was running at a solid 60 FPS the whole time. Wii wasn't good. This is Need for Speed Nitro, and at the native resolution, I was still getting some substantial frame dips and audio stuttering. Wii U is actually good to go. This is the Cemu emulator, and it's running really good. For whatever reason, this system couldn't handle Wii, but Wii U is no problem at all. Go figure. PS3 isn't even worth trying. The games take forever to cache, poor performance even at the menus, and then the game crashed on me. I couldn't even start a Switch game. I tried a few and none of them would even launch. I did try PSP though, and that was pretty good. Upscaled to 1080p, I was getting a few frame dips at times, but for the most part, it was smooth sailing. So what do I think about the GMKTec Nucbox 7 or the G2 or whatever it's called? I think for the price, this is solid. You can find cheaper mini PCs than this, but they'll probably be using an older, lower-end processor. I think it's likely that most of the really good Windows performance, especially stuff like Photoshop and video editing, that's likely benefiting not only from the modern CPU architecture, but also the Intel Xe graphics that we have on here. And probably lots of the gaming too. This is a small, efficient, low-power chip, but considering that the whole PC is running off a 36-watt power supply, and considering the size and considering the price, I'm very happy with what we could do on this little thing. I'm actually planning, after this review, I'm gonna leave this set up on my desk and use it as a dedicated indie gaming machine. I have the 1 terabyte drive in there, and that can hold a freaking ton of lower spec indie games. And if you want to do that sort of thing, you just grab any old Bluetooth controller, install Steam Big Picture mode, and you've got yourself a little Steam machine that can play some of the best games available right now. I mean, no, you're not going to play the latest Assassin's Creed or Call of Duty or whatever, but for the price, you get a lot of bang for the buck here. If you want to spend a bit more, then you might want to consider the Nucbox 10, which I reviewed recently. That thing was amazing. It's my current favorite mini PC for the price. I'll include a link to this Nucbox 7 G2 in the description below, and I'll also link my Nucbox 10 video review on the screen right now and also in the description below. And you can go watch it right now because we're done here. I'm TechDweeb. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.